The following program is rated D for Dumb.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Dumbing It Down with Dave. My name is Dave Canyon, and we're going to dumb it down and go for a drive. What do you say? Want to come along? Let's do it. Come on, Hal, sing us a song.
9 o'clock, I'm bored to death. Smoking so much I can smell my own breath. My baby left me, my best friend's not at home. Can't get that woman off my mind. I've never been the broody kind, but there's still one thing makes me come alive. Yeah, I'm gone for a drive.
The following podcast is rated D for Dumb. You're listening to Dumbing It Down with Dave, the fastest podcast on earth. Listen to Dave commute to and from work on the New York State Thruway in his 2008 Kia Rio LX. He talks about pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all. Join Dave as he asks and tells you how life ought to be. And now, here's Dave.
All right. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Dumbing It Down with Dave. My name is Dave Canyon, and I'm here to dumb it down. Are you ready to dumb it down? Let's go for a drive. All right, I want to thank Alex Exum real quick, ALEXEXUM, for providing his voice for the intro at the top of the show for the last almost 5 years. And I want to thank Hal in Philly for that song, Going for a Drive, which is available on Bandcamp.com. Bandcamp.com. Look up Hal Aaron Cohen, Hal in Philly, with his great song, Going for a Drive. And, of course, Linda for providing some of the AI voices that we've brought back. We've changed a few things. We revamped a few things, changed the script on a few things. So thank you, Linda Irwin from Awesome Insanity Surfers, for the voices of Harry and the other voices that I may or may not be playing this show, the previous show, and the next show. All right, let's get right to it. We're not going to waste any time. We're going to get to episode 240, I think it is. I forget now. It's either 240 or 241. I could look real quick here. Let's see now. This would be episode 241. That is correct. 241. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Let's read. Episode 241 was Vernon Payne, Comedian, Part 2. I did Part 1. That was episode 240. I did listeners' comments on that. And so let's do the listeners' comments on Vernon Payne, Comedian, Part 2. He's a young comedian from New York City. He's doing he was, before the COVID, he was doing some storytelling, which is something that they do down in New York City. I've never been to a storytelling event. I've never told a story, but apparently that's a thing now. You go and you tell these stories. They don't necessarily have to be very funny, and they don't necessarily have to have punchlines. But Vernon has been finding it a nice alternative to stand-up comedy. And also Vernon Payne is the host of his own podcast called The Broken Comic Podcast, which I am an interview subject on one of his episodes. I don't remember the number. So if you want to hear me be interviewed, we also did a two-parter with me. So look up The Broken Comic Podcast. Maybe we'll put a link to that podcast in the show notes if we get around to it. But otherwise, if you look for it, you can't find it, just give me a buzz, and I will help you with the link. You can also leave a voicemail if you can't find anything you're looking for, or if you're dissatisfied with this or any episode, or if you are completely satisfied. Give me a call. It would be great to hear from you. Love you to engage with the show. All right, that's Dumbing It Down with Dave, the dumb line, right? It's the Dumbing It Down with Dave hotline, but we call it the dumb line. And you can call that number at 3477, the letter I, the letter M, dumb, 3477-DUMB. Also, you can call 347-746-3862, 347-746-3862. Keep it under 60 seconds with clean language, and maybe I'll play it on the next show. But if you don't keep it clean and you use any profanity at all, it will not be played on on any episode, because we try not to do the E for explicit. All right, let's get right to it. Vernon Payne, Comedian, Part 2. The info on this show was that Dave interviews Vernon Payne for another entire hour. after we already spent a whole entire day together, which was right after me working an entire night, which was right after working the entire week. So when I met Vernon Payne in Albany after working for about 4 or 5 days in a row and working that whole previous night, I was totally toast. I was totally exhausted, and we had breakfast, and then we went to a wine. We did a podcast. We did an AM podcast. Did we? No, we were supposed to go to a winery and just do one podcast later, but anyway, it was a change of plans. So we ended up doing a podcast. Then we ended up going to the distillery where they was called Yankee Distillery in Clifton Park. Clifton Park. We did some whiskey sampling. Mind you, I'm totally exhausted. I'm totally toast. We already did a 1 hour podcast, and now we're doing this one, part 2. I got to tell you, it was brutal for me. I really burnt myself out. I think I felt it pretty good for the next week or two after that. It took me a while to recover from that experience. Anyway, in the show notes, it says here, Dave interviews Vernon Payne for another entire hour after already spending an entire day together. The two visited a whiskey distillery in Clifton Park, New York, and had dinner at a burger joint. Then they returned to the Kia Rio, and they sit underneath I-787 along the Hudson River and have a frank conversation about life, race, the Black Lives Matter movement, and much, much more. Yeah, we did talk about that, and I got to tell you, I was so toast. I'm not really sure what Vernon says in this episode. He does refer to which I've been hearing a lot lately, is the Black Lives Matter hashtag is separate from the Black Lives Matter movement or the people behind the movement and the website. There's like some conversation about what's this and what's that. You know, there's Marxism involved, whether it isn't Marxism, and there's people, there's violence, there's all these different comments and things like that. I really am oblivious to almost all of it. It doesn't affect me. It's not part of my life. But anyway, I understand that it's out there, and I did my best to have a conversation with Vernon about it. But I got to tell you, I was really way too tired for my own good. There is a fortune cookie quote, I think, on here. It says, this: the audience that the black comedy audience has, the audience that the, wow, this is weird, that the, comma, I don't think that's what it's supposed to be written. The black comedy audience is kind of split. So a lot of black audience members can be into both of the intelligent type stuff and the things that are very loud and crazy. Yeah, so there you go. I think that's true with a lot of different crowds, you know, different audiences, so on and so forth. All right, let's go to listeners' comments. Let's do it. All right, not too many. I really thought there would be a lot more, but not too many. Let me see. Linda Irwin wrote, there is a certain demeanor and attitude of younger men, or of any ethnic group, that makes me nervous. Though the ones open carrying their rifles scare me the most, because they can just shoot you for no reason. There you go, Linda Irwin. A couple of concerns there. A concern. A legitimate concern, absolutely. Linda Irwin also wrote, I grew up in mixed schools. I had mixed friends. I still do. Great job, Linda. Linda Irwin also wrote, if you treat a black guy differently from a white guy, the term is called compensating. There you go. Yeah, I might have, did I mention that? I might have mentioned I was dealing with a black guy, not dealing with a black guy, but a guy in another trucking company. I was being especially nice because he looked new, he looked a little bit out of sorts or whatever, but I'm always nice to people, especially in trucking, but anywhere. I help people all the time. It's not a big deal for me. It's really not that hard. Patrick Maruki closes out this episode by writing, another great podcast, Dave! ! There you go. Patrick Maruki. Thank you, Patrick. I appreciate it. All right, so let's go. I'm actually reading this off my laptop. Usually I do it off my phone. So let's backspace here. Back button. We're on the Spreaker app. I'm actually on Spreaker.com. And let's look up the next episode, which would be, What Do You Do Alone? Let's recap life at episode 242. What do you do alone? And in the info, it says here, in this episode, Dave recaps what's been going on for the last few weeks since his 2 consecutive 1-hour interview episodes with comedian Vernon Payne. Recording those 2 shows underneath the overpass of I-787 in the sweltering heat without proper sleep while sampling whiskey during the middle of the day definitely took a toll. Nevertheless, the interviews went well. Meanwhile, Dave also reads a few comments on the episode and plays a voicemail from the Dumbing It Down with Dave hotline, also called the Dumb Line, 3477 I am dumb, or 347-746-3862. All right, let's read some comments from here. Let me just shut this off here. Let me see how much time I got left here. All right, good. All right, we're only 10 minutes in. We're gonna get some work done today here. All right, what do you do alone? Let's recap life, episode 242. Not too many comments, and Linda starts off by writing, "The only thing I do alone is walk around our property on nice days. Just about everything in the house I do alone. Internet, most television shows, movies, and we each eat our own meals at different times." Wow, so Linda is married, and they eat different meals at different times. That's interesting. Linda Irwin also wrote, "Thank you," for something I said that was probably very nice. And then Linda Irwin wrote, "When Dawson left," which was her partner for the original, I think the original part of Awesome Insanity Surfers, "when Dawson left, I wrote his characters out of the show." Ooh, there you go. And Lynn Brunet wrote, "Keep going." There you go. Wow, sometimes people put a lot of work into these comments. Gail Nobles wrote, "Great show. You always sound professional." Thank you, Gail. I really appreciate it. Gail Nobles also does a podcast. Look up Gail Nobles on Spreaker. And I don't know the name of her podcast off the top of my head, but it's a good one. And again, we should probably print that in the show notes. Gail Noble, her and I have been supporting each other pretty well. Linda as well, of course. Linda is the original supporter of Dumbing It Down with Dave. But Gail Noble and I have been going back and forth a lot lately. All right, episode 243. Hello, Washington, Virginia. Hello, Washington, Virginia listeners. No, hello, Washington, Virginia. I was right the first time. Listeners' comments, episode 243. All right, let's read this. What's the info on hello, Washington, Virginia? Listeners' comments, 243. And the reason why I said hello, Washington, Virginia, because on my Spreaker statistics page, I had like an explosion of listeners, and I don't know who it is or who they are, but there was an explosion of listenership in Washington, Virginia. All right, so this is episode 243. Info says here, other than talking about the Dumbing Down with Dave hotline to start it, 3477 I am dumb. It says, in this episode, Dave says hello to Washington, Virginia. He also reads comments from some of his previous shows. He also reads a few reviews for the show from Apple Podcasts. Oh, wow. Yeah, I should read all of them. Because it's always great to get a 5-star rating and review at Apple Podcasts. So if you haven't done that already, please do. He appreciates all those who stop by his show and thank listeners for supporting and engaging with the show. Yes, I do. Okay, there you go. Let's go to the comments for episode, what is this? What did I say, 242 or 243? 243. These are the comments. All right, Patrick Mason starts off by putting down, "It's time to get my dumb on." Patrick Mason also wrote "Ralph smokes so much he can smell his own breath, and so can we." There you go. Patrick Mason also wrote, "Love that song, Dave." Patrick Mason also wrote, "You're in your bedroom? What are you wearing?" Patrick Mason also wrote, "A friend of mine did the fasting for 30 days and lost 44 pounds. He feels much better." I think I was talking about intermittent fasting. Patrick Mason also wrote, "I'm sitting here sewing buttons on my uniform shorts while taking in Dave's show." Well, there you go, doing two things at once. That's good. It's good that you sew buttons on your own uniform shorts. That's cool. I can't do that. Patrick Mason also wrote, "The other is my truck going up and down the New York State Thruway." The other is my truck going up and down the New York State Thruway. I don't know what that means. All right, Linda Irwin wrote, "Congratulations on the walking you got in." There you go. Yeah, I got some walking in. Linda Irwin wrote, "Taylorville is Jared from the Ho Ho Show." So I must have read off the towns that are listening, and I guess Taylorville is Jared Ho Ho's theme from the Ho Ho Show. Mind Drippings is Doug Salamone. So somebody left a comment and under the title Mind Drippings, and that's Doug Salamone, who's a friend of the show. We haven't heard from him in a long time. All right, so let's go to episode 244. We're making some progress today, guys. Are you enjoying this? Do you enjoy listeners' comments? Am I going too fast? Is there something else I should be doing other than listeners' comments? Because maybe if you haven't heard those shows, then you don't understand what the comments are. Yeah, I probably should do this a lot sooner. In other words, don't let these episodes get old. I should do them right away, right? I just like to give you guys plenty of time to listen to the show and comment on the show. I don't get like a million listeners every show, and then I have all these comments. Sometimes they trickle in. So I like to let the episodes age a little, which is probably a big mistake. This episode here, number 244, is actually just called Listeners' Comments. And does it say when I published this episode? About a month ago, it says. That's all it says. It doesn't say exactly. It should say exactly, but it says about a month ago. All right. In this episode, Dave goes over comments from episodes 217 to 225. Oh, so it was just one of those episodes where I talk about other episodes. All right, let's see if there's any comments on this. Patrick Mason wrote, "It's 3:16. It's time to get my dumb on." Patrick Mason talks about Ralph smoking too much. Linda Irwin wrote, "You always get at least one comment from me on every show." That's true. Linda's got the streak going. And Patrick Maruki, thank you, Linda. I really appreciate it. I don't want you to think I take it for granted. And Patrick Maruki, what did you think he wrote? "This episode is the subdued Dave." Oh, yeah. I did this episode in my living room, and I was very quiet because I didn't want to wake anybody up. And I'm doing this episode in my living room right now. I still don't want to wake anybody up, but my wife is dead to the world, and the bedroom door is closed. And my son is in his room, and I think he's sleeping. So I'm not really concerned about waking anybody up. All right, so that was, what did I say? That was episode 244. Let's go to episode 245. We're going to keep on going. I think we're going to get a lot of episodes in. And I don't know if we're going to catch up to the last episode, but I would really like to be, I think a good number is to be like 1 week behind. What do you think, guys? What's your take on this listen to comments thing? 1 week behind? 7 days, right? That's plenty to respond. I should do one bonus episode a week. All right. My Month of Hell, number 245. That's right. Another thing about the Vernon Payne episodes that were live, and they were an hour each. I was, I think, in the middle of my Month of Hell, and it was horrible. It was just really, really exhausting for me. It was a very tough time for me. It really was. I'm not joking. Because I really didn't know if I was going to be employed the next day. I didn't know what was going on. So I gave it a couple of weeks before it finally came to fruition that nothing happened. In this episode, Dave discusses how he lived the last month, which stems from an event that occurred while he was driving at work. Learn what may have happened and how it affected him. Yeah, it was horrible. It's absolutely horrible. And I know I have a part 3 to do for my Month of Hell, and I'm not going to do it tonight, but I'll do it when I'm a little bit more clear-minded. Maybe tomorrow, but definitely this week. We're going to get that done. All right, so let's go to the comments for episode 245, My Month of Hell, which I also thought was going to attract a lot of comments, but it really didn't. It only attracted a few. All right, Alex Exum wrote, "Laundry in the Basement. Great name for a new podcast." Yeah, I guess so. Nothing to do with the show that I did, except I guess I did mention that, oh yeah, my father left a voicemail and said something about laundry in the basement. That's okay. Thank you, Alex. I appreciate you commenting on the show. Linda Irwin wrote, "Your Facebook fan page is a great place to highlight videos and podcasts by sharing the link there. People following you will see your new content, and you can visit those links and even like them." There you go. I always have confusion between the Facebook group and the Facebook like page. So I must have mentioned it, and then Linda commented on that. I still don't understand the difference, but I think we're getting to some sort of point where it doesn't really matter. Okay. Linda Irwin also wrote, "Thank you, and you are welcome. I think I am down to less than 10 listeners now. There is a surprise specifically including you in a future episode of Crash Dystopia. Wink." There you go. Yeah, Linda mentions New York State, I think. I think that was the surprise to me. Thank you, Linda. I appreciate it. Great job. Crash Dystopia is her new podcast. Well, it's actually a continuation of Awesome Insanity Surfers. But now they're doing Crash Dystopia, which is post-apocalyptic. And it's mostly drama, but still has some comedy in it, but not as much as it used to. That's not really the point. The point is telling an incredible story, which she does very well. Linda Irwin also wrote, "So sorry this happened. If you were just driving a regular car and that happened, it would be no big deal." That is true. But it is a big deal because I really could have done some damage. Patrick Maruki, really, that's a nice way of saying I could have killed somebody, including myself. Patrick Maruki wrote, "What a nail-biting episode." Okay, yeah, I busted dragged on, and then finally said what I had to say at the end of the show. because I need this sound to prod me along.
Time is running out.
Yep, that's what I need.
Time is running out.
Thank you, David. All right, Joe Foley wrote, "No harm, no foul. Scary incident. Glad everything worked out." Yeah, I know. It's just that it's in my mind, and I just picture my life. This is how I prevent myself from taking life for granted. I think about how bad it really could have been, and I would play it in my head over and over again. Lynn Brunetti wrote, "FYI, for your kind of show, you only need one." She's addressing the Facebook confusion I'm having between the like page and the fan page. Lynn Brunet also wrote, "Either a group or a page, not both." Well, there you go. Too late. I do have both. Gail Nobles wrote, "I love the way you capture attention. You got my attention at the very, very, very beginning. You make people listen for more." Wow. Thank you, Gail Nobles. Wow. See, that's a great comment. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Gail. All right. So there you go. Those were the listeners' comments for My Month of Hell 245. Holy cow. We are really sailing here. Let's get to episode 246. Is there anything else I should be telling you? I should probably take a breather break, right? I probably should, but I'm not going to because I really want to get to these listeners' comments. And I hope you guys are listening to this and enjoying it. My Month of Hell, part 1.5. I just did that because, everybody does a part 2, but My Month of Hell, part 1.5. All right, what's the info on My Month of Hell? Let me see what it says here. In this episode, Dave elaborates on his month of hell around July and August 2020. He also discusses an emotional and sentimental 1954 Brooklyn Dodgers autographed baseball his grandmother gave him over 40 years ago. That's true. I still have it. I almost sold it. I would have sold it if I could have, but it wasn't worth anything. So, there you go. Comments for My Month of Hell, part 1.5. Linda Irwin wrote, "It has been high 80s and into the 90s here. I am heat tolerant. We are also in a drought." Linda Irwin wrote, "Your club baseball information will help the many out there that also have the same thing and falsely think they have something valuable. Pragmatic." Thank you, Linda. I appreciate it. Linda Irwin also wrote, "I blocked that woman who was in my comments too." Oh yeah, some woman wanted to have sex with me or something like that. I knew it was a bot, so I don't respond. Anytime anybody says anything nice to me, I assume they're a bot. I'm still waiting for Linda Irwin to come out as a bot, but because she's too nice to me. Anyway, and I really do appreciate it. Lynn Brunet wrote, "So you'll never retire then? Because you'd be nothing?" That's right. That's right, Lynn. That's right. Without my job, without money, I am nothing. I am worthless. Absolutely worthless. I have no value whatsoever. So, yeah, it definitely plagues me. If I was to lose my job, I would feel terrible. I mean, really, really down. Horrible, horrible, horrible. All right, how much time we got left? All right, about 6 minutes. Which one can we do now? Can we do the next episode? I think we can do one, maybe two more. Bonus episodes. Bonus episode. Listeners' comments, number 247. Maybe this will be it. I got to pause. I got to take a drink. Oh, let's just take a drink break. I'll do it on the air here. I'm drinking some black tea, unsweetened tea. Okay. I feel better. Do I sound better? I should sound better, don't I? I think I do. Bonus episode. Listeners' comments. Oh, I got the comma in the wrong place. No, do I? I don't know. What does the comma go in listeners? After the S? Or before the S? Maybe I don't have it in the wrong place. In this episode, Dave replies and reads and replies to listeners' comments from episode 225 to 230. It's a good sample of shows, especially for those who have never heard of Dumbing It Down with Dave episode. The show promotes interaction and engagement, some of its cornerstone principle. There you go. All right, comments. What are the comments? Oh, there's only one. Linda Irwin wrote, "I first discovered I had MS in 2001. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Linda. I didn't know about that. And I think you sent me a link to a video you wanted me to watch about that. I never did. I feel terrible about that. It's got to be in my emails or something like that. But if I can't find it, send me the link again, and I'll definitely watch it this time around. Well, that was it. That was the least amount of responses was episode 247. Let's see what 248 holds out for us. How much time do I have left? All right, 5 minutes. Wow, see, it's flying by. Where is it? Biden is going to lose huge. News at 11. A pragmatic prediction. Yeah, that's all. A little bit of a pragmatic prediction. That Biden is going to lose, and he's going to lose huge. Oh, God, I'm so tired. In this episode, Dave veers off his intended topic and dabbles in politics, local network news, and people trying to act like millionaires.
Time is running out.
Okay, no.
Don't go over.
No, I won't.
It disrupts everything.
I know. I'm sorry.
How much time do you have left?
Only a few minutes.
Are you wearing your glasses?
Yes, I am. It's around the top of my head. All right, here we go. Biden is going to lose huge. News at 11, a pragmatic prediction. This might be the last episode we do. Let's see. Yeah, about 4 minutes left. All right. Let's see. Linda Irwin, I have like 4 comments all about the dumb line, the hotline, and stuff like that. 347-746-3862. Leave a message and keep it clean. All right, 3477, I am dumb. Linda Irwin wrote, it would be sunny here today if you could see the sun. We have a grayish-brown fog appearance out there due to wildfires. Wildfire smoke 5 miles away. My first time this summer, I had not gone outside at all. Oh boy, that's horrible. Linda Irwin wrote, your sponge can kill you. I believe it. It has been watching every move I make when I am awake, and I think I heard it slinking around when I tried to go to sleep last night. Yikes. Linda Irwin also wrote, take a breather break in the middle of a wildfire can kill you. Film at 11. Linda Irwin wrote, experts weigh in on the satirical, pragmatic humor of this episode. Be sure to tune in at 11 o'clock, or whatever time you tune in. And I wrote, funny stuff, Linda. I hope you make it through fire season. Sounds dangerous. Hal Aaron wrote, if you think orange sunshine, this is so funny. By the way, this is just like Patrick Marucki calling them Trumples. Which, by the way, if you keep on calling them Trumples, Patrick, I think it starts to become a term of endearment. Like a little Jewish old lady that would pinch his cheeks and go, hello, Trumples. So, but Hal Aaron has decided to call him Orange Sunshine, which, by the way, in the scheme of things, is really not a bad nickname. It's actually very endearing because, Orange Sunshine. It's like it's not for breakfast anymore. All right, if you think that Orange Sunshine is going to get another 4 years, you've been ingesting B too much exhaust fumage on the Happy Highway. Something way he could possibly beat, the only way that he could possibly beat Joe is to have every mailbox and every mail sorter confiscated so that the same people can't get their vote in without exposure to COVID-19. It'd be like if we were playing Yahtzee. I roll the dice, write down my score, and then pulverize the dice with a sledgehammer so you can't take your turn. Then I declare Yahtzee. Yahtzee can kill you. Film at 10:30. What else we got here? I think we got one more comment. Kel Nobles wrote, sometimes I have to turn the news off. Everything is so sad, and politicians and the president are celebrities now. I've never seen anything like it in all my life. That's right, Kel. It's kind of crazy out there. Well, that's it. Where did we end off at? That was good. Biden is going to lose huge. News at 11. A pragmatic, what was it? A pragmatic something. 1 more minute left. A pragmatic, what is it called? Is this not even, a pragmatic prediction. That's what it was. Biden is going to lose huge. News at 11, a pragmatic prediction. The next episode will be Biden, Harris, and Matchbox cars. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. That's great. We're getting caught up. episode 249 is next, and I think I'm up to episode like 259 or 260. Dumbing It Down with Dave. Don't forget to tweet me at dumbwithdave. Email me at dumbingitdownwithdave@yahoo.com. Don't forget to check out the website, Dumbing It Down with Dave. My YouTube channel, Dave's Fit Life. You can check that out. I greatly appreciate it. And call the hotline. Leave a voicemail. Engage with the show. This show is so much better if we had like 15 comments every show from all different people. That would be so fantastic. All right, I thought that was a good episode. I thought this was a good week. I appreciate you guys tuning in. And what do you think,
Thank
Hal?
you for listening to this episode of Dumbing It Down with Dave. Goodbye, good day, good night, good luck, good riddance, good rats, Godspeed, and great skills. Take care.
See you next episode.